Action.
Hello to our viewers, followers. I'm Unito Dwarf from HEDSO. HEDSO in full is Health and Economic Development Strategy Organization. HEDSO work in 4 counties, that is Kisumu, Homa Bay, Kericho, and Busia. And the main office is in Moroni. And we also have our town office in Tom Mboya behind Pinecone Hotel. Today we have a very nice conversation on SRHR, and I have my able panelists and amazing. They look nice. And as you know, that HEDSO has 4 thematic areas we are dealing with. That is economic empowerment, integrated health, climate change, and disability inclusion. And today we are here with one thematic area, that is integrated health under HRHR, sexual reproductive health rights. And the theme of today is choices, voice, future, and unpacking myths and reality on SRHR. As you know that it is okay to make choices as young women and girls, choices that protect you on the right or to use when to use the contraceptives. And also it is okay to empower the future with the correct information on contraceptives. And also it is okay to use your voice. Using your voice means you speak out whether you are facing the challenges on SRHR. And I think it will be amazing conversation. And now allow me to introduce my panelist. I will start with Arthur. Arthur, as you introduce yourself, tell us what your organization is doing on contraceptives, and also tell us anything you want us to know about yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Arthur Onyango. I work at Tinada Youth Action Africa. Tinada Youth Action Africa also has 4 thematic areas, that is integrated mental health services, decent work and economic growth, education and empowerment, and disaster risk reduction. So when we talk about integrated mental health, we also have a sub-theme around it called reproductive health. Under reproductive health, that's where we talk about contraceptives. So in this context, we encourage people who are sexually active and do not still wish to have children to use contraceptives, because contraceptives are useful and are helpful. And the question around usually family planning, is it only for married people or for everyone? So it's for everyone who is sexually active and would still wish to delay having babies. So today also I've been asked to say what I'd like people to know about me. Today I think people should know about me is that it's a good day, and I hope that we are going to have an enjoyable conversation.
Thank you so much, Arthur. That is a nice and awesome introduction. Pass the mic to Jero. Tell us more about yourself, your organization, and what you are doing on the issues of sexual reproductive health rights.
Great. Thank you very much to our viewers, and thank you to the host and the moderator. So my name is Jeroni Makinyi Obwar from an organization called YESAM. YESAM in full is Youth Empowerment on Strategic Advocacy and Mentorship. So mostly the main theme that we work on in YESAM is SRHR, Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights. And that makes us be able to enjoy the topic that you are going to discuss today on matters contraceptives. So we are empowering young people with information on sexual reproductive health and rights, and also comprehensive sexuality education to adolescents, so they can be able to make informed decisions by themselves. So I am looking forward to this discussion and also to engagements from each and everyone here. Thank you so much. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, Jero. The mic. Mercy, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Unita, for this amazing conversation. Thank you so much to our host and our viewers back at home that are watching us. My name is Masia Kisa. I work with Women Collective Kenya. This is an organization that is based in Nairobi, but we have been having a project called the Changing Laws Project, which deals with SRHR and Beijing Plus 30 platform. Our organization mostly works with young girls and adolescent girls, women, and especially women that come from the marginalized areas. The women from grassroots areas, Ushago. We also work with queer persons. This is because we are also looking at equality and inclusivity. We are including these queer folks to be accepted into our communities, because these are people like us. These are just the people like any other person out there. There is no difference between a queer person and a straight person, because we are all human beings. And we are focusing on the rights of young girls and women. That is why we are here today, to look at contraceptives, to talk about contraceptives, to talk about the myths and realities that affect young women back in the community, because there is a lot of myths back there in the grassroots areas on contraceptives. That is why we find that there is a lot of women and young girls that get into early marriages, get in unintended pregnancies. And that is why we are here today, to talk about this. How can we solve this? How can we empower other young women in our communities on matters contraceptives, especially on sexual, reproductive, and health rights? Thank you.
Thank you so much. To our viewers and followers, we are here with those amazing partners, that is TINADA, YASAM, Women Collective Kenya, KNITA Future, HEDSO, and Media Minds. You can feel free to follow and look at what they are doing in their various community. Jeremy, access to contraceptive continue to shape the health and future of our community. Can you kindly share how it is shaping the health of our various individuals in the community?
Thank you. When a woman or a young woman is able to make informed decisions about themselves, then it means that they can as well choose what works for them, so they cannot get into the quagmire of let me say, falling pregnant unplanned. Because most of the times you see that unplanned pregnancies, some of them come with a lot of mental health issues, come with a lot of dysfunctionality. And if we see that women are able to access contraceptives, then that means that they can be able to be productive persons, because then they're not pregnant before they are ready and before they are planned. And also, this also goes with our health. What is the need or the purpose of a woman becoming pregnant and keeping the pregnancy, even though they know they won't be able to cater to the needs of this specific child, or to cater to their own needs, or perhaps their health might be not good, not so well, they might not be medically fit to carry the baby, but then because there are conversations surrounding taboo of contraceptives, the woman will still keep the baby, but then end up giving birth to a baby who will in turn give her a lot of challenges. So if women can access contraceptives in good time, and they themselves be able to make decisions in whatever type of contraceptive they want to use, and use it until the day they're ready to bear children, this time they're not doing it, then they're also doing something else. They're doing it, how well can they be productive in the society? How well can they keep on working on themselves in terms of education, in terms of career pursuit? Because childbearing is not something to be forced to with anyone, being a young person under 18, or be it who has accidentally become pregnant, or be it a woman who is already in marriage. They should be given time to choose on what do they want to use in terms of contraceptive, and how do they want to use it, because they know why they want to use it.
Okay, thank you, Jero. Hatha, I came across a certain woman in the community, and the woman shared with me a very painful story about herself. The husband, she was not willing to be pregnant, but the husband keep on forcing her, and that's made her to take the pills and store in someone's house. So anaenda anaumeza usiku na anarudi, and that was so painful for me because the husband said that you are married and you have to give birth. Your purpose is just to give birth, and the husband limit her not to go to work. Like, my work as a husband is just to provide you. Your work is just to take care of the children. So my question is, what are the key misconceptions do you see most happen in your area of your work?
Thank you. I like the way you've come and that story. And I want to say that men, just as women, have their stories around contraception. One, a lot of people think that contraception discussion is only for women. That myth, and that's a myth. Men make a lot of contraception decisions, particularly on condom use, and also many people also would also not wish to have babies sometimes with you as much as they're having sex with you. So that decision also needs to be arrived at, and people need to discuss that we are having sex. Do you want to have babies? I don't want babies yet. You want babies. So that is an important discussion. It's not only for women to decide that now we must have babies or not. So it also comes the other way around. When a woman doesn't want to have a baby and you want to have a baby, then it should also be respected. So that's why we are talking about rights. We are talking about right to choose when, with whom, and how, where to have a baby. How many of them do you want? Maybe you wanted one and now you have one. No one should force you to have two. Or you are in a marriage and probably you want to start having babies in your third year. Whether you are a man or a woman, that calls for a contraception decision. So there's a lot of misconception that it's only women who should have this conversation around contraceptives, but in reality it should be for anyone who feels like they want to delay childbearing, and often that is a decision that should be made by both couples. And I was looking last week was World Contraceptive Day, and I came across a statement that says about 16.4% of women of reproductive age in Kisumu County have a contraception access gap, which means they would wish to stop childbearing or delay childbearing, but they are still experiencing that they are not able to access that. And one of the issues that was raised to be leading to that is the role of men. Sometimes the misconception around contraceptives, what we are talking about today, a man would actually encourage you to delay childbearing, but they sometimes are afraid that, oh, this one will affect your health, and I love to contribute towards taking care of your health, or this one will prevent you from having children when we'll have children. So male engagement in the area of contraceptive is really critical. How do you encourage men to also say when they do or they don't want to have children? And how do you encourage men to also understand how contraceptives work? What are the side effects? How do you make sure that these side effects don't have long-term consequences on people? So it's important that people know that people are not just given contraceptives without particular observation and tests. Depending on their health, decisions have to be made, and contraceptives are provided mostly by qualified practitioners. Let me not say lastly, because I don't know if another question is coming. There are also contraceptive options for men, majorly condoms and vasectomy, and also other very let me say not very efficient methods like withdrawal method. So there are contraceptive methods. When we say not that is not contraceptive, that is family planning methods. Sorry, the family planning methods, and withdrawal is one of them. So people should be taught different options that are available for family planning, so that when they want to have babies and or they don't want to have babies, they're able to make that decision. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, Arthur. Akisa, Arthur's just mentioned about myths and misconception about contraceptives, Indio. And I've heard in the community, I'm a community person, people say that when you use the pills, you use all type of contraceptive, you are, one, you can't give birth, ladha inaisha, you can, unakuwa na infertility, vitu kama hizo, and I know we pia unazipitia in your various community. How does contraceptive connect or around myths and misconception like infertility, weight loss? Have you ever come across one myth in the society apart from the one I've mentioned? And how true or sure or how did you handle it to make the community be informed that ukitumia pills huwezi kuwa infertile, ukitumia pills hauwezi nona, ukitumia pills hauwezi konda, because some people believes that.
Thank you so much for that. Number one, we have different types of contraceptives. We have injectables, that is Depo. We have the implants. We have the pills that we take them. We have the coil that is inserted there. And these family planning methods, most of them are hormonal. And they come, and our hormones differ. My hormones differ from yours. My body reacts differently from yours with whichever family planning method you've decided to use. And the myths that you've just mentioned, some of them are myths, but some of them are not myths. A myth is the fact that when you use a certain family planning method, you're going to be infertile forever. And the truth is that not all, you will not be infertile. The moment you stop using that contraceptive, your fertility will come back. Unaweza zaa tena even after using that whatever family planning method ulikuwa umedecide kuitumia. You will definitely get a chance to give birth again and again and again until the day that umetosheka na watoto. But the fact that tunasema kwamba you can be infertile, hapana, si ati ni a forever thing that you are going to be infertile forever. No. And then also, we always encourage women, whenever you are going to the health facility, you have all the rights to ask for the correct information from the health practitioner. I want to use a good example of me. When I gave birth to my daughter, tukienda clinic, she was only 3 months older. So and I was a teen mom, I was 18. So ile nye mmesanywa wote mwende, hakuna kupewa kadi kama hamjadungwa family planning. So the naive me nimeenda huko with other women, we've gone there. And imagine the doctor is telling me that I am supposed to be given implant ya 3 years because I'm still young and I'm still fertile. Yeye alijua aje bila kupima hormones zangu ajue kwamba this specific family planning method is okay with me, is not going to hurt me. But later I bled for almost 3 months continuously. Unaona, that affected me. Nika end up to lose a lot of weight. And that is why we encourage women nowadays. Personally encourage women, whenever you are going to the health facility, ask the doctor to akusaidie, akueleze, akutake through these different contraceptive, akwambie hii inawaka aje, na akwambie kwamba different contraceptive works differently with our hormones, with each and everyone's hormone. Si unapewa tu ati sababu wewe bado ni mdogo. That is not right. And then also another myth that I've come across in my community is that family planning inakufanya ukwe mbaridi. Like you don't get that appetite, that sexual appetite with your partner. To some yes, to some no. we are still going back to the hormonal part of it, because our hormones differ with different contraceptives. So it is upon your health practitioner to take you through the family planning method, akwambie hii ndio right, so that you can go for it, or this one will affect you this way, rather than tunaenda and then we are having we are going for the contraceptive without any information, yet you have all the rights to information, to health information, the correct information. We unadungwa tu, and then wewe una end up kubleed, lose a lot of weight, to lose your partner. Thank you.
That's awesome. Jeremy, I know you want to add something on myths and misconception, but before that, I had a certain story in the community. You know, I work so much in the community. There's a certain woman who said it was injected or initiated your vagina, and kidogo kidogo, it was for around 6 years, sijui 10 years, then akashika mimba before that 10 years. So akizaa mtoto, amepata kama mtoto was developing na hiyo the ring, you know, the one for the ring, ilikuwa imenini hapo kwa mtoto, sindio? So that woman was saying that these things are not valid. How comes ilikuwa initiated kwa vagina na ninapata tena kwa ikishika mtoto? So what can you tell us about creating a space in the community where people know what is right and what is wrong, and that's occasion happen that is an accident? How can they go about it? Ndio spread a lot of rumors and myths for those who want to control the childbirth.
Thank you so very much. You'll always hear that most of the myths and misconceptions surrounding matters contraceptive are always emanating from, let me say, some kind of accident, the way you're saying. Sometimes it's carelessness from the medical practitioner, and also sometimes it's the uneasiness of the patient. Now that is you. So it's not a myth as per se. But then we've always been advised that some of those ones for insertion, like the vaginal ring and the IUD, a medical practitioner has to take certain, has to check you, has to look at you. Where are you in your menstrual cycle? How healthy are you? When is it since you had last your other baby? Or there's some questions that you have to be asked. And also, when last did you see your menstrual flow? Because if those questions, if they're not answered properly, that is when you will see the vaginal ring will be inserted, or the IUD will be inserted. But because sometimes there was miscalculation, then already it finds the baby was already forming in your womb. Then the baby will just form, but then will go with the community says that siwezi tumia hiyo coil, nikitumia coil nitazaa mtoto amebeba coil hivi kwa mkono. Si mnajua, si mnasikianga hizo vitu hizo wanasema. Enyewe hazikwangi myths ati ni myths aje. Ni kwa sababu kuna miscalculation fulani ambayo ilifanywa. So because ilipata kama mtoto ashaanza kuform, si mtoto ana grow tu na wengine wanapata mtoto yako aje hapa hivi, hiyo kitu kwa kichwa hivyo mama amebeba kwa mkono, si ndio? Because the time it was inserted, it's just like for example, if you use emergency pill during ovulation, and you know what the emergency pill is supposed to be doing, or you use it after umeshashika ball already after 72 hours, it will not work, obviously. So we also have to be like, the same way you're saying about having spaces in the community. Yes, we need to have such like continuous talks with people, not only with the community members, but also with the service providers, on how do I engage the patient before then doing the service for her. How well is this patient aware of whatever it is she wants? Is she the one who has been able to choose the specific service, or is it me who is choosing for them? And if I'm the one who's choosing for them, then I need to wait for them to be okay and for them to know that this is what I really want, and these are the consequences. One thing I like to say to our service providers, they also need to be honest with us when you go for all these methods. It's okay, because there's always two sides of a coin. Nothing is always 100%. It's okay for you to just tell me that I'm giving you this contraceptive pills to take, the regular methods, but this and this and this can happen because they're hormonal. You see, that is why you will take pills and be very okay, and I'll take pills and be very cold, or I'll take Depo and be very cold. And those are the things people are taking as mates. They're not mates. They're things just happening to people because of one thing or the other, because of hormones are at play here. And we should also know that the way Depo acts when you're using it, it's not the way sometimes can act when it's me. When you take maybe the implants, maybe you can take 6 months without even seeing your periods. Maybe I can take 3 months. So it's very different from one person to the other. And those means should be actually, they should be, we should talk about them. We should just talk about giving the community members the correct information, and don't tell them that this is good, you need to use it. I like the way one of the speakers said that before having any method on any client or community member, sit them down, let them know all the 15 methods or even more right now that are there, and the ones that are available at your own facility, and how long is this surgical process? Is it going to need surgical process? Is it just going to need just you taking it like that? We should just let people know everything from the word go, so that if I am making a decision, I'm making a decision based on what you told me. And I liked what also my colleague Alta said, that we also have to have male involvement. That time I am going for any family planning method, it is okay if I have a partner, for the partner to go with me, because the partner will then understand. The partner will understand that if and when I'm called, I am called because of this is happening, and they will not put more pressure on me as well. So in terms of contraceptives, it is actually something that needs a communal effort. Everyone needs to talk in this matter, be the man or the woman. Contraceptive is not for only women, but it's for men, because everyone is actually being affected. If you're not affected, if you're not infected, then you're affected in a way. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Jero. Arthur, I heard you mentioning about male engagement, and also Jero has mentioned about it. What role do boys and men have in this conversation? Because most of the time ni kitu yenye imekuwa women and they're part of it. They're staying together, and all of them are victim. What role do they have to make this thing to make everyone being informed about the contraceptives?
I'll say that all of us become parents.
Yes.
It's not only women who become parents, or women become more parents than men. So I should not be ambushed with being a parent. So I should be asked if I'm ready to become a parent. And that decision is made collectively. So I also think that is where the rights of men are being violated. People can introduce you to parenting that you are not ready for, and then you'll be judged harshly. But that is just one of the reasons. The second reason is just understanding what my two colleagues have spoken about in terms of side effects. I did a reasonable time at a health facility, Migori District Hospital, I was educating people at the MCH. And one of those things that I came out with from that space is that contraceptives, some of them have side effects, and side effects vary. There are rare side effects, and there are more common side effects. And one of those things that if you get a good health practitioner, or a person who knows, at least the ones I was working around, would tell you, if you see ABCD, come and change. Come and take an alternative. If they have tried one or two methods and still not working, they'll advise the third, or tell you to use which other method to work with. There are sometimes that one, they don't work for you. Not that you won't get pregnant, but the other risks that one you're having, for instance, increase in weight. It's very common for some, especially hormonal contraceptives. So how do you support somebody who is saying that since I started having this contraceptive, I'm having increase in weight? Sometimes contraceptives can also be blamed for social issues. For instance, you are called because you're having a marital issue, and you went you had gone for contraceptive. So those are also there. There are also some circumstances where people don't really know the underlying cause of lack of sexual interest. Sometimes it's emotional. So those are also there. So there are a lot of issue. I really would never wish to tread down when people say that there are myths and misconception, or there are things that happen to them. Because, for instance, IUD, if you look at it, the womb is immune privileged site when you're pregnant. So when there's something in there, I don't know if you remember. I know this we were taught in secondary. How do you call them? When when a foreign body gets in contact with white blood cells, how do you call? Uh, I'm forgetting the name. I'll remember. So generally, it's very rare for a child to grow with something in the womb. So there are some stories that people also become creative. Apart from medical events and accidents, there are medical events and accidents that happen. I don't want to dispute that fact. But there are also storytellers in the community. One person will say, weenda tuweke IUD, mtoto atatoka kama ameshika unaita kopati kwa mkono, alafu mtu mwingine ataenda aseme niliona mtoto ametoka na kopati kwa mkono. So as the stories go, that also happens. So it's really important that when you go and you have that myth and misconception about family planning or contraceptive method that you want to use, ask it at the facility that mimi naogopa hii sababu mtoto atatoka na IUD kwa mkono, and then you'll be advised. Most of the time, I think that is one of the best methods because it doesn't alter your body function a lot. Because especially IUD, it doesn't alter your body function a lot, but it requires two things: a high level of hygiene, and two, sexual faithfulness. Because if you have an infection with an intrauterine device, you are likely to cause more harm than good. So that's why we are talking about male involvement. You put an IUD, your husband is not informed, and your husband is also not hygienic, neither is he faithful. You say your chibo is not hygienic or faithful. So it's a conversation that people need to have for the two reasons. One, it affects both of us. You want to have one child. As our moderator, I want to have two children as the father. So how do we agree that we are going to have 3 children after you wanted 1 and I wanted 2? So that is a conversation that a family has to have. One myth about it is that who makes contraceptive decision? Who bears the greatest burden of childbearing? That should be the person making the greatest contraceptive decision, as a matter of fact. And that is in terms of how many children are we willing to bear. But in terms of when we want to have children, I think all of us bear the same burden. I feel I'll not feel very happy if somebody ambushes me. For instance, if a lady today just shows up in my life with a child that we had, and I honestly say that I didn't want a baby at that time, then it will not be kind. Yes, there will be nothing I can do about it, but it will not be kind. So in the spirit of kindness and also in the spirit of respecting right of both women and men, it's important to have a discussion and a common decision on contraceptives. And in terms of childbearing, when, where, how, the woman bears the greatest responsibility and also the greatest rights in terms of deciding that now I'm willing to get out of a contraceptive because one, there's going to be a greater sacrifice made by a woman. So, and two, when you're talking about most methods, they'll also be the ones having it in their body. But the decision to have children should be common, and no one should impose it on it. Neither a man nor a woman should impose that decision on the other.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur. I like the fact that you have mentioned key words in your speech, that is consent. Then you have also mentioned about the importance of involving male in this, and also you have mentioned about having a conversation as partners. Yeah, kukuwa tu na mtoto lazima mujipange, si ndio? Akisa, contraception linked directly to education, gender issues, right? Linked directly to education, gender equality, and economic opportunity. Can you kindly share with us your experience in that area? How does it link directly with gender equality, economic opportunity, and education?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Contraceptives as a link between economic
Economic opportunities, gender equality, and education.
Okay, thank you for that. Number one, when we plan our family, when we have this conversation with my partner that tumefika time yenye sasa we want to look for a child ama children. Number one, family planning ama contraception is a responsibility for my partner and I, for both of us, not only me, just like the way my colleague said. It's a shared responsibility. It's not something that I'm supposed to die with it alone, but it's a shared thing. So when we sit down and decide that we want this and this number of children, it will also enable us to plan our future. It will enable us to know how we are going to educate these kids. Are we able to take them to school? Are we able to provide them with meals, basic needs? How good are we going to invest in them? Juu hakuna haja tukatae kuongelelea hii story and then we end up giving birth to a lot of children, yet our income is very low, yet we are not able to even sustain ourselves, but we are still giving birth, yet we have these family planning options. So what I can say is we should sit down, talk about this. Let us have kids because we want to, not because the community wants us to give birth to kids, not because we want to nasemanga kufurahisha community, but let us look at this as this is you and me, this is our future. How is our future going to be with these lots of kids? Yet we have just a small piece of land that is supposed to sustain us. Ama tunakaa kwa some small rental house. And this is why we are still urging women to go for contraceptives. Have a conversation with your partner that, yo bro, we want kids, lakini hatuna hii uwezo, tuko tu na hii peke yake, tutamanage watoto kama hawa. Juu hakuna haja my husband wants two the way you gave it and I want one, because ninaona our capability is not at iko uko juu. We can only manage that one, but you are insisting on two. And tukingangana hivi, this is also going to bring intimate IPV, intimate partner violence. Juu tutagombana, tutukanane, tupigane hapo just because of kids. Yet this is something that we can talk about, both of us as couples, because these kids again that we are going to have are supposed to have a good life. Si ati wanakuja tu hapo bora tuko na Mary na Tony na nani. They're supposed to have a good life. They're supposed to go to school. They're supposed to eat and dress nicely. Personally, I have one kid, and because it's my personal choice to have a child, huyo amenitosha juu hapo ndio uwezo wangu imetosha. When I will want another one, definitely I will want it him or her wakati naona niko kwa kiwango fulani. I have a better job that can sustain the two of them and me pia. Si ati sasa tunajaza tu the house because we want them. Hapana. We are also supposed to look at our economic part of life.
Okay, thank you so much. Hatha, what can you add on the link between education, economic opportunity? Yeah.
Yes, I usually make a joke that condoms have kept so many girls in school. It may sound like a joke, but it is true. One, this is mostly when people start arguing between which one should we make sure is accessible, condoms or sanitary towels. Today, I'm not diminishing uh, the weight of period poverty, but I'm also elevating the right to making safe sexual decisions for young people who are already sexually active. It still comes to that conversation. How many young people have escaped pregnancy because either their boyfriend decided to use a condom or they did ask their age mate, their peer, to use a condom? And also, just imagine in the world today, if these young people could not access condoms, even the people who do not agree with us would in hindsight say that I wish they had access to a condom. So it's important to have this conversation with children, not children, age appropriate conversation, and also person specific conversation. Like every person has a level of knowledge they already have, behaviors they already have. So it would really be important for you to have this conversation with young people. We say age appropriate conversations with young people, and also individual conversation with young people, because you can find it's age appropriate to say certain thing at 14 years, but there's a certain 14-year old who is doing things over 35 years old. So those conversations are really critical to know what you're saying with who, and also right to information, sexual reproductive health information for young people. uh, to a great extent, I think one, making contraceptives accessible to young people is a place we should go, and also one, making contraceptive accessible to young people, it's a place we should go as a way to improve access to education, because when a young person has gotten pregnant, there's a period of time they will either have to be out of school to bear that child, to for a couple of months, 1 to 3 months, having that child able to grow. So you realize that, especially for young people, just as people with households, contraceptive contraceptives are, I say, a basic need and therefore a human right. They need to be able to get them. And lastly, when we are thinking about it as an important aspect in making economic decisions, the cost of having a baby, just as she says, is there's a cost to having a baby, and there's a cost to raising every human life. uh, we need to be sure if we are able to bear that cost, and also, aside from being sure if you are able to bear that cost, um, also be sure that you are able to take care of this child. There is a cost ya kuzaa tu that the country has to bear. Like says the government iko na linda jamii, si ndio? From linda mama, so there's linda jamii. So from that cost of bearing a child, that cost of raising a child, are you able to give this child the best life that they deserve? So to me, one, in terms of access to education, I think it's important to make contraceptive, and also look at it in colleges. Uh, Access to contraceptive in colleges. I think that the need, all of us who went to universities, we know things that happened there, maybe things we did. So if you are not having access to contraceptives in colleges and in the universities, maybe we would have been parents before we launched, before you even had a house where you can have those children live, maybe even before you could even have a job to keep to bring them up with, or even before you're even mentally ready to have a family. So it's really it's a critical decision, And remember, it's a basic need for people, since we say sex is a basic need.
Sex is sweet.
Not yes, sex is sweet. And if you look at the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you realize that sex is a basic need, sindio?
Yeah.
So if it's a basic need, then we making sex safe, and also making it not all encounters to result into children. And we don't want the statement of unwanted children that used to be, or unintended children, or accidental accidents. Then contraceptives have to be made accessible.
Okay, Jeremy, as you are adding some comment on how contraceptive is being linked by education, gender equality, and economic opportunity, I want to also to tell us or reflect on how a young person like me or someone in the community who is struggling in making choices on contraceptive, what message can you give them or can you tell them struggling to make choices and guidance on which contraceptive to use, or the process he or she should follow to get the contraceptives?
Thank you, and also thank you to our viewers. Before I get on that, let me just add a comment on what my previous colleague said about linking that to gender equality and education. I would also love to say that in as much as we are making contraceptives accessible to young people, we should also put at the back of our minds and also just be more intentional about giving education to young people before giving them the contraceptives, because preventing a pregnancy is not preventing a disease like STI. So in as much as they have prevented pregnancy from having a pregnancy, but we also have to know that we also have things that are awake, like STIs that are awake. We have gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomoniasis, all other STIs that we did not talk to them about. So this education, if you can be intentional and tell them this is what sex is, and when getting into sex, this is what is gonna happen, and these are the consequences, and these are contraceptives to only protect you only from pregnancy. Those ones only prevent you from pregnancy. However, after pregnancy, you can also plan to do regular health checks. You can also want to get to know your status, the status of the person you're going to engage in sex with, because anyone of reproductive age, hormones are speaking, everything is everywhere. Hormones are all over when you're getting into puberty. So we cannot keep on telling young people to keep on abstaining. That will be, we are just being selfish and barring them from doing what we want them not to do, but as we are doing, yet they will keep on having sex. What if we give them the information we are all talking about? What if just not accessing contraceptives to them, but telling them these are the consequences of even using the contraceptives, but as they use the contraceptives, remember the diseases are not sleeping. So we just teach them, we give them all this. So it's for them to choose and make informed decisions about them. So about how a young person struggling with a method to use is also just by how we spoke previously. Is about that young person going to a facility, to an open-minded service provider who will explain to them and teach them all the methods that are available, not decide for them on what to take, but to be patient enough with this young person to be able to choose. And a young person, I know young people speak, I know we speak with our peers, we speak with everyone, but I should not use something because my peer is using that. We are different, our bodies react differently, I will repeat, but I will just go to the facility, and this young person, this doctor or nurse can be very patient with me to educate me. And also as a young person, I need to be teachable. I need to be also have this attitude to be able to, this positive attitude of, I want to know more. What are these methods? Which one can go with me? And then you'll have a go service provider who will tell you, let us try with this. If it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, come back after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, so we can see on what to do. So in struggling, I can also say, do this and do this, because we are different. Yeah.
Thank you, Jero. Hakisa, before you add something, I know you have something to add. This is the last question as we are winding up. change requires systematic action, and we are aware of that. And we have organization, we have community, which is us, we have the government. What are the steps or procedures the government should take, or the organization like EDSO should take to make sure that contraceptives are very accessible and people have the better information about them?
Thank you so much for that. Number one, I always say that we are the voices of the voiceless. We have the information. What about the ones at the ushago? Someone in seme huko ndani yeye hata hana any information about what contraceptives is. So we are the ones that we are supposed to raise the voices for the voiceless. We are the change. We are the ones to push for the change that we want. We are the ones to push and make sure that that woman ama young girl back in the village anajua kwamba when she does this, when she engages into unprotected sex, she will get pregnant or she will get infected with STIs. We are the people that are supposed to help them know that akigo for this contraceptive itamsaidia hii na hii. And also we are supposed to have such conversation with the CHVs, community health volunteers. Au sasa ndio wako kwa ground kabisa, wale hata wanasema ile the native language. They are the ones that we are supposed to also engage with them so that they can bring the change to the community. Hao ndio wanaenda kwa milango za wamama. They're supposed to be going door to door. Venye wao wanapeleka vaccine vaccinate watoto mambo na polio nini. It's the same way they are supposed to go door to door wakiambia mama nani hii na hii ni hivi na hivi, ama we have a baraza under a tree tuongelele hivi, because we are the change. They are the change. If we engage the CHVs into our engagements kama zile za YWCA that we used to have, the SRHR engagements, we are supposed to also have these CHVs within us. We are also supposed to have the religious leaders. Wao pia wanafaa kusikia kwamba, because they are the number one that are I'm not bashing them, but they are the number one that are telling us that we are supposed to give birth. We are not supposed to use family planning methods. Family planning methods ni mbaya. Yeye aliona wapi? Alisikia wapi? Until we sit down with them tuambie hii ndio importance yake na hii ndio disadvantage yake, so that they can also understand. Hata wakirudi church, they have something to speak about. Not kufanya nini? Kupinga vitu without the correct information. I'm very sure they also don't have the correct information. They only know that ni mbaya inafanya tusizae vizuri, and we are supposed to give birth. It is a natural thing. It is the right of a married woman to give birth. So we are the change. The religious leaders are the change. The local leaders are the change that are supposed to bring that change to our community at a grassroots level. Hapa tao tunajua we always have a lot of engagement. Huwa tunaenda Mama Grace, tunaenda wapi. But the people back at the village hawana hiyo message. Hiyo change kitambo ifike huko. It's taking a very long time. But what I can say, the advocates are the ones that are supposed to raise these voices for the voiceless. And then also I wanted to add something on Arthur's point about young people being engaged in conversations on SRHR. SRHR, of course, that includes contraceptives, condom use, periods. So your point brings us back to the CSE, comprehensive sexual education. We are still fighting for the government to allow that topic to also be included in school curriculum. Because hata tuseme tu kweli kuna hiyo guidance and counseling, but hiyo guidance and counseling session inakuanga tu kitu ya kuwa stigmatize. Mimi I want to talk from experience nikiwa form 3 ama form 4 when back in high school. Our guidance and counseling teacher will come there and say venye mnaenda tu holiday, mnapata mimba, nini mna amjali, like it was kind of stigmatizing statement, because if you know tulikuanga tunafanyiwa test za pregnancy. if you unajua so and so and so and so walipatikana wakiwa pregnant, how about you call them, talk to them in a private area? At least these young girls pia wanafaa kukuwa na privacy, wanafaa kukuwa na confidentiality, and that is their right to confidentiality. I mean, you know, I'm pregnant, ni sawa, nilimess, but talk to me in a way that will make me not to go and mess again. Si kunifanya sasa nijichukie, nione ni kwamba I have done a very wrong thing, nini hapana, that is not right. And then also abortion. I remember still on the part of pregnancy in high school, mtu ilikuwa ukipatikana, hata kama ulikuwa na labda you aborted a month before the tests are done, bado uange na show it's positive, you will be expelled from school. Why? Because you did an abortion. Kumbuka hii abortion umeiprocure because the guidance and counseling teacher alisema aje, mnaenda mnajipanua, like, sorry to use the words. I mean, you are supposed to talk to us and give us the right information, the right direction, because they are our elders. Au ndio wakubwa wetu, they are supposed to give us the direction. So we are still fighting that the CSE, comprehensive sexual education, be introduced into schools. Hata wakwe wanatukubalia tuende tuongeleshe hawa wanafunzi. But the problem is, tukienda kuongelesha wanafunzi tunaambiwa tunafunza tabia mbaya. And deep down, we are trying to empower these young people, because damu yao naye ni moto at that time. Age 13 to 18, it's always very hot. And these young people need the information to know that doing this is wrong and doing this is right. Yeah. Nimesahau hiyo point ingine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Akisa. Arthur, on the action plan, what are the steps or the procedures the government, organization like YASAM, TINADA, EDSO, the community, including the parents, should take or make to make sure the contraception is understood in the community and also accessible?
Thank you. I think the government is doing a lot in terms of making contraceptives accessible. They try to procure it, but it is not enough what they're doing. Enough financing for contraceptives. We cannot say they are doing nothing, because if you go to a facility, you'll find a healthcare provider who is able to provide it. But the question is, who are the 16% who are missing contraceptive services? One, there are women in far-flung rural areas. Where if you go to one facility, ingine iko mbali, another one is far away. So sometimes a woman will say, hey, to watch at this time ningoje, they are on depo, but they say, yeah, taenda 3 days later. And 3 days later, they are already ovulating and pregnant. And yeah. So that is one. So how do we make sure that we adequate follow-up that is at facility level, and then at organization level like us, it's just education and advocacy. What we are speaking about, access to information, information on sexual reproductive health and contraceptive. I'll just make a small joke that you decide not to teach your child about sex, they will learn about it kwa simu ya rafiki yake, on TV. I remember there's a young boy alikuwa tunaongea naye kwa simu occasionally from time to time. So he tells me, today I saw dogs wakifanya tabia mbaya, and he's very excited. So I know with time the other children will tell him, what were you asking? Ulikuwa unaambia anko nini? Then definitely they start learning. So there are a lot of things that will teach your children about sex. So you choose if they will learn the hard way. Most of young men also have their first sexual encounter uninformed. Anaenda natumia condom, ajui kuvaa condom, ajui kuitumia, and they are 1 week to leaving Form 4. You're still saying that they don't need to learn about sex and sexuality even immediately after leaving. So it's something that it's important that people get to understand. People get to know themselves. What is it that we are getting into? what are the consequences, what are the benefits, if any. So that's our role as NGOs. And when you look at in terms of creating a change, there are usually some levels to check. If you're doing behavior change communication, the first one is individuals. Do people know the challenges or the problems they are encountering based on having particular behavior or not taking a particular behavior? Then we have communities. Then we have communities where these people come from. Are people aware? Are they supportive to accessing reproductive health services? Then we are having institutions, that is schools, non-governmental organizations. Then we are having churches. Are these people supportive of the change that you're talking about? And in this context, we are talking about contraceptives. Then finally, we are having the government. Is the government supporting these communities? Is this government supporting individuals, communities, and institutions by developing adequate policies that provides for a structure for accessing contraceptives? For instance, in terms of comprehensive sexuality education. Then tell us that we don't want to see you talk to these people from this age to this age about this, but people from age 13 to age 14, talk to them about this. From age 14 to age 18, talk to them about this. Then that is the reality they live. Because a person leaves Form 4, they go out, they are in love, they are not even sure if they want to start a family or not. They get pregnant, interrupts their parents' ability to take them to college or decision to take them to college. A lot of things happen. I know you'll say that a girl has a right to go to school even if they're pregnant, but the father will, it's a right. Ako 18, atamwambia sasa vile umekuwa mama lea. I am not saying that that is the right thing, but that is what happens in the community. But if we empower them to make the right decision, then we are able to change something. So it begins very small, very little, at individual level. Your friend who is in Form 4, who is in class 8 and is already sexually active, are you educating them? So you make that change at individual level. You're having people in a peer group. Are you talking to them of things that are age appropriate for them, asking them, what do you know about this topic? They tell you their myths, and you realize between these days, age 8 to age 14, people have a lot of myths around sex. A lot. Even you had them. So you had your own myths at your time. And the ones today are very informed more than us because of access to ChatGPT, access to YouTube, access to, which one do you have? Pornhub. And then also access to Netflix na uko nyumbani. So they are very informed. But is this information, sometimes they are informed, but is it complete information? Is it correct information? Is it age appropriate? Because somebody at 8, there is an information that they need to start having, or they already have, but need to be corrected. So thank you for allowing me to say so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Arthur. Jero, what's your view on the step the government should take, the NGOs, the community, which is us or the parents, to make sure to make sure the contraception is accessible and is in a better, people understand it in the various community?
Yeah, true. My colleague has already said almost all. I wouldn't really want to watch it on the screens. And the government is already doing a lot. It's doing something. So maybe if the government just strengthens the mechanisms that it uses to see that contraception is made accessible and affordable to all people, in terms of also policy and all the organizations also, if we just continue working collectively to ensure that all these commodities are made available, affordable, and accessible to young people, in just matters advocacy, and also in terms of policy formulation. Just people to take part in all those policy formulation processes, and for the community members to also be able to come into these forums for public participations so that their voices can count as well, and to parents who are listening, for us to know that we are the first voices of our children, to just keep on knowing that we have a role to play as parents, and no one can play that role more than we can do. So each and everyone, it needs a multi-sectoral, multi-pronged approach just for each and everyone to come in together to save the community from the quagmire that it's already experiencing at the moment. Let's create safer communities together. If you hold hands, we can all do this.
Well, thank you so much. As we just hold the microphone, can we just leave to our viewers or followers a key message on the discussion we had, just as a parting shot?
Choices have consequences.
Thank you. Otha?
Contraceptives are basic needs, therefore they are human rights.
Nice.
Correct and right information is a right for every young woman and any other person out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to our viewers, our followers. See you next time. Mbona unatukat?